Hello and welcome to See Hear Love. I'm your host, Melinda Estabrooks, and today our show is all about moms. Our favorite thing about our moms, the best and worst things about being a mom, and encouragement for all of you moms out there. And today we have all of our hosts and co-hosts around the table.
I love it.
Talk about moms, how fun. This is so great. Well, you know, I think that, you know, for Mother's Day being, you know, yesterday, you know, I really think, though, it's really every day of the week. You can say yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I know that's like this one day. It's like, dun, 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 yay, Mom. And then it's like every single day is Mother's Day. What's the sign you have there?
Right.
Because I think that's hilarious.
It is so perfect, you guys. It says, who are these kids and why are they calling me Mom? Like, and every mother's like, hallelujah and amen. Yes.
Who are these kids?
Who are you?
I have no idea who you are screaming down the toy aisle. I have no idea. Whose are those kids? Tell them to be quiet. Well, let's start off with our mums, because obviously we all have mums. And I just want to share, you know, a picture and a memory or a favorite thing about your mom, maybe something, even a character trait about your mom. And so I think that's great to share about that today. And so, Jen, let's start off with you. Picture of your mom, what's her name, and then a little memory or thought about her.
So my mom is Linda, and she was just always a kind of a force of nature in my life, because she really was. I mean, her whole life is volunteer work. So, I mean, I remember being a kid and she learned Braille. And so she would be actually brailing into the night because someone would be relying on her to braille their textbook. And they would like have class the next day and she'd be, you know, brailing. And so she's always done all these amazing things. But for me, it was just always her power to encourage. And I mean, we come from actually a line of, men would say scary women in our family. I would say strong. But I remember I grew up in Calgary and being on the LRT system with her, and it's an honor system where you buy a ticket, but you know, they come through and check every once in a while, kind of like the GO system in Ontario. And this kid, because we were split up, and so I was really little sitting over here, she was sitting over here, and this kid comes up and grabs my ticket because the officer's on checking for tickets. And I'm sort of dumbfounded. And so she sort of lets the officer go by, and anyways, it's all sort of explained that, you know, where my ticket is. But she sits down next to the young man. I hear her say, young man. And I don't know what she said to him, but by the end, he's got sort of tears in his eyes. He's like, you know, I'm never going to do this again. Like, I honestly,
soft-hearted.
He's probably never done wrong again. And she's worked within the juvenile correction system as a volunteer, working with kids. And so, I just grew up with I feel lucky I grew up with a really, really amazingly strong woman. And when I've needed to be strong in my own life, I think she gave me a really great foundation for that. So
beautiful. Way to go. Awesome. Amazing. Cheryl, what about you?
So my mom's name is Dorothy, and she hails from Barbados, best island in the world. Do go. And she's just a pillar of strength for me. My mom is a superhero. I wasn't the greatest daughter all the time. Gave my mom definitely a run for her money. But what I love about, and I know we'll talk about this later, but when I became a mom, it was like this huge do-over on 2 levels, right? And so, you know, to be continued later, but I just love seeing her as a grandmother now. And, you know, my husband is her favorite, whatever. Hi, Mom. Is Greg there? Oh, okay. You know, but she is awesome. She's awesome, and she's ride or die, and she'll just do anything. She'll drop anything, and she's one of those big sacrificers. That's all moms are.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's good.
True enough.
Abby, what about you? Your mom?
Oh, my mom she's incredible. She's strong as well. That's just a trait that you know of her if you know her. She's a tough love girl in the right sense, in the sense of she'll comfort you and mourn with you, but then there's a time where that's over and she's gonna kick your butt up and out of bed again. Like it's so good. When I was walking through my separation, I remember there was a time where I was a fully grown woman and I had a rough night. I could not sleep and I ended up in her bed next to her. And none of us slept. I felt bad. I kept my parents up because I was like, such a mess. But that next morning, she essentially, and I think I've shared this before, but she took my hand and she was like, listen, I get what you're going through. It's tough and like, you know, this is hard. But you have to get up and choose life. Like, she's like, you can't live this way. You can grieve, but you need to just get up and start again because you've got this. And like, it was almost offensive in the moment because I was like, how dare you? But it actually, I was like, no, she's right. And I remember looking at myself in that mirror that day and being like, no, like I've got this. And it was because of the words my mom spoke. And like, she's done that so many times in my life. She's prayed verses over me when I couldn't sleep and I fell asleep. Like, she just speaks life. And that's my favorite thing about my mom.
Beautiful.
Totally.
Kimberly, for you, your mama.
I love my mama. My mom's name is Ruth. We are probably fairly opposite in some ways. Like, she's gentle and stuff, and I'm not. And so, like, my mom is like 5 foot on the dot. I'm like 5'8", and my dad's very outgoing because he's a preacher. And my mom was always the gentle behind my father, and she would always say, "Now, Kimberly, dear, you're just like your father." I'm like, I know, but her gentleness is what makes my mother strong. Because, and also in her gentleness is amazing wisdom that she just, "Now, Kimberly, dear, I hope you don't mind, but I just feel like I have a word from the Lord for you." And through all those hard things and through all the great things, she just has always been that gentle hug. And the days going through hard stuff where she would just, "You're a pearl of great price." And I'm like, okay, but she will come out with stuff about Jesus and go, "I just was thinking about this and I just wanted to share." And I'm like, "You're the greatest person in my life," because she just breathes that gentle wisdom all the time.
Beautiful.
That's my mama.
Beautiful. It's good. Joanna.
Well, you're all being very sentimental, and I feel like I've told on this show lots of things about my mom, but I haven't talked about this.
Okay.
I am the daughter of an older mother, so I'm the youngest of 4 kids. She was almost 40 when I was born, but she's a very fashionable woman.
Yes, she is.
That is true.
I can vouch.
I mean, she's visited here. If you've seen her, she's come by
That
the
lady.
set. You've seen her in church. I mean, she's cool.
She can throw down.
She's got that like leather bomber. She's got the necklace. She's got the skinny gray jeans with the little boot. And I'm like, if only I wore that size of boot.
So you can always be fashionable, no matter what age you are.
That's right.
Love it. I think for my mom, Diane, you know, just like for a lot of women that time, my mom was always behind the scenes of my dad. I mean, missionary couple. She always, you know, quietly took care of the family, faithfully praying, caring for us and my dad. I think as I got older, when I went through very difficult times, it was always my mom who was the one who was there. Folding the clothes, helping me pack up my house, making sure that I was well. My mother always rose up and always took care of me. It was that natural, nurturing thing. And so I'm so thankful for that. I'm also very thankful for my mom's prayers. I think I would not be here if my mom did not pray. Every time I'd head out to the club or downtown Toronto, late at night, not telling them, slamming the door, saying, "It's none of your business where I go." And my mom faithfully prayed for me, and I believe that that is why I'm here. So I think that's, you know, as far as a memory of my mom, I think that those are really good ones and ones that I, you know, remember. Before we get into what some of us as moms are the best and worst, what are some of the things that, looking at your mom, that you've learned that you have taken as a woman today? What are some of the traits? I mean, we've mentioned them, but something that really you saw in your mother that you've actually now are modeling or living that out, that character, whatever that is. What would you say that you have taken from mom?
I think I can point out one that I'd like to be living out, and I might work towards that, is her hospitality.
Okay.
She can cook like nothing else. Oh, she cooks incredible meals, but she just, she whips up dinners for 40 people. Like, it's just like, well, that's happened on occasion, but like she'll gather people around her table for holidays, and like she does it all herself. Like we'll jump in a little bit here and there, but like she does, so that's something I really admire about her. And yeah, so that's a trait that as I get a little bit of a bigger kitchen and bigger table to host people around, I would like to do that more.
That's good.
That is very good.
Jen?
Very good.
My mom has always stepped into injustice, so I think that that's, you know, when I see things that are wrong and I want to correct them, I think I get that from her, because she just, whether it was an example on a street where she would see someone who is being mistreated, or, you know, kind of larger issues, she would just, it was never other people's problems. It was, if you see it, then you have an obligation to fix it. And so, you know, whether it's, and again, whether it's on the street, a Bible study, like whenever she sees anything, she won't be afraid to take that step and to get involved. And so I think that probably is something that I think I admire that in her, and I try to carry that out of my own life.
That's good.
That is good.
Cheryl?
Oh man, tossing between resilience and bravery, but I'll go with bravery. My mom disarmed an armed man at a church picnic in Brooklyn.
At a church picnic. That's the best part about this.
Wow.
Yes, people. I said church.
Yeah. Church picnic. That's church picnic.
We don't have time for that story.
But you can't wait to hear
obviously in the States, licensed to carry, so people are, you know, kind of, it's a little bit more accessible than it is kind of, and he whipped it out, and I was like, oh, no, you don't. And I'm like, Mom, you know, early teens, and she just, I love what you said, in the midst of crisis, she just, it's not about herself, and it's just this mother bear on like steroids.
That's awesome.
And I really have gotten that from her, that sense of bravery and not cowering, and kind of like facing opposition full on, you know, warrior.
Yeah.
You know?
Amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Love that.
Now, you know how to disarm somebody now if there is a gun involved.
Yes. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Kim, what about you?
I'm like Abby in that something I want to be more like my mom is just her real friendship with Jesus. She just, I've always known where her Bible is, and I've always watched her just so be in the Word and know where all of her devotionals are, and she always runs to Jesus first.
That's so good.
And I just need to be reminded to always do that more. And I know that about my mom, and just her friendship, her love with Jesus, like it's very precious. And I want to be more like my mom.
Love that.
Yeah.
Joanna?
Yeah. My mom, there's many things, but one thing I think I have from my mama is self-confidence. I meet so many women who are so deeply insecure, and I have insecurities, but I'm largely quite confident. I think it's because my mom was, that she felt great about herself, and because of that, she was able to love other people so well, because she wasn't constantly looking at herself, constantly worrying about how she was doing in the room. She was able to go and love and care for other people, and she does this up until today. And I admire that so much in her. She's so confident in her own position with the Lord that it allows her to not worry about that anymore. And then she's just able to love other people. Yeah.
I think for my mom, it's, you know, like what I said before, it's just a very quiet sort of in the background, which I'm not. But the one thing I want to be more like about my mom is that she is so not judgmental. I mean, I see that in how she loves us, the kids, because we have given her a run, and it has not been an easy being a parent to us, you know, as far as the kids, and how she loves people and serves people quietly and does laundry for families that can't do it, and all these little things that she does, but behind the scenes, no glory. Half the time, I don't even know that she's doing these things, but she's like, but that's just how I serve. And she just loves on people in such a beautiful way without judgment. All people have access to love. So you then love, and there's no judgment in that. And also the expectation of getting back.
Right.
She does it not because she's like, I know eventually that couple is going to get better and then they're going to give back to me. She does it out of love. And so I think that is something I want to become more like.
Love it.
Beautiful things here, right? That mothers, just the power of a mom giving to their daughters these things, you know, hospitality and self-confidence and bravery and stand up for injustice and gentleness and the word and love. Like, think about those are key things.
Imagine we were all those things.
Well, exactly. In one person, we went, oh, wow, look at the kind of women we would be. Woo! I know. Amazing. And it speaks a lot to then a responsibility, I think, for us and to the next generation of how we should be. Speaking of that, I know that we have some mums around the table, and just in all honesty and transparency, I mean, there are some great things about being a mom and then not so great things about being a mom. What would you say the best things are? Best things about being a mom? Maybe one, because you could be like, we could be here for like hours.
Silent.
But that was a little weird pause there. That was a weird pause. The best thing about being a mom.
My answer is going to be a little bit abstract, but I have to say, I was thinking about this. For me, the best thing about being a mom is, for me, it is the restoration of all things. Being a mom, I made a lot of decisions as every child was being born of what kind of mom I was going to be. And for many, you know, we draw a lot of our lessons from the life, you know, the lives around us. But I actually was like, I won't be this, and I will not be that, and I won't be that. And so for me, the things that I felt I lost growing up, I was intentional about, God help me to be. And so, you know, I was an only child, and I you know, didn't have a lot of friends. And now I've made my family like my best friends. And so there's different things that, like, it's giving to me. It's kind of restoring a lot of holes. Being a mom, I don't know if you guys can relate.
That's actually
beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very good.
Jen, what
restoring.
about you? Yeah,
I
best
mean,
thing.
for me, I just love hanging out with them. Like, they're fun little people, and it's you know, really watching them go from being fully dependent on you, and you know, and I mean, I had postpartum depression. It was a bit rocky when they were little, and then being a season of being a single mom, which is a tough thing. But now that they're older, they're just fun people. And it's just so cool that these fun people are like such an integral part of my life, and will be like, they're my people.
Yes.
So it's just, I really enjoy that.
Yeah. Kim, what about you?
Yeah, they are fun people. I think just understanding love. I mean, my parents have said it to me my whole life, but when you birth that child, that is crazy love right there. And just watching them grow into these people that, I mean, God's mark has been on them from the beginning, you know, and just kind of watching where He takes them. I'm like, these are yours, and I can't even believe you gave them to me, because I love them like crazy. And that's my single parenting time too, was just like these two people. Oh my goodness, thank you, God, for this great gift. I just think the love, and when they are old enough to talk and they say to you, I love you, mama, that melts anybody. Like, that's crazy right there. I love them. I do also love that they're older.
Me too.
That is more fun to me.
I think for me as a stepmom, it's there is that part of, wow, like all the stuff that I have been teaching for 20 years about life and about life with Jesus and the kind of person you want to be, you can actually teach that to these kids that are part of your family. And I mean, that's the good and the bad, because they kind of talk back to you about that stuff. And you're like, shoot, did I tell you that? I'm not living that up right now. Ah, shoot. Because, you know, because I like to do my preach on and, you know, talk to them about things. And then all of a sudden comes around, they're like, Mel, last week you told us that you needed to trust God in this, and this doesn't look like you're trusting. And you're like, oh, shoot. So I think there's the joy and the hard part of that. Because they're smarty pants like that, right? So there is a good part like that, but I think that is the best part, that you go, wow, you know, the things that, and the stuff that I really failed in, you know, we can, Chris and I have been able to share, like, hey guys, this was some really bad decisions Dad and I made. We don't want that for you, so we're gonna give you the skills and tools to help you in this area. And I think that's exciting, because from all of our mistakes, we can then help them not hopefully make the same. You know, it's great that we can share the great things, all these great things that our mamas have done.
Here she comes.
And I'm like, but it's hard.
It's hard.
It is hard.
It's hard and it's heartbreaking.
It's hard.
I do not want for a moment to make it like motherhood is all great and that every kid is going to end up fantastic and on the honor roll and be amazing. Because the reality is it's not. There are families and there are people and kids involved in choices and all kinds of stuff. And so it's hard. Being a mom is hard.
Yes.
And we need to give a shout out to all moms in all parts and places and experiences and moments because it's not easy. And so I think that what I want to do is just share from that an encouraging verse for moms. Because I think that, you know, when it's just like bleh, we need something to hold on to and believe for it. So in Psalm 28:7, it says, "The Lord is my strength and shield. I trust him with all my heart. He helps me, and my heart is filled with joy. I burst out in songs of thanksgiving." Now, I want to go line by that a little bit because I think that's important for us to encourage moms. The Lord is my strength and shield. What does that mean? Because, I mean, it sounds a little like abstract, or what does that mean when I am really down? I can't find my child. They've run away. There is tension, there's broken relationship. What does that mean, the Lord is my strength and shield? How will that help them? What are your thoughts about that?
That phrase right there is the thing that I'm holding on to right now as I have two in university. It is Cheryl, let go. I got this. I've got them, just as I have you, let go. It's an emotional one for me because I have to. Do I believe what I preach, sing, live, talk about? Well, here's the rubber hitting the road.
That's right.
Gotta say goodbye. Gotta let them go. I have to let them live their life. I can't be around every corner. I can't prevent them from scrapes and bumps. It is the hardest thing for me to do right now. You caught me on a real vulnerable moment. My son's 21, my daughter's 18, and I'm in this sort of like beginning to like lift my hand and do this. And but he is there.
He is their strength and shield. And I think that's good, a reminder that we say it for ourselves, but we can call that and claim that over them.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes we don't even know where they are. We don't have control of what they're doing, but we can claim over that the Lord is their strength and shield. He is also my strength and shield as well.
Absolutely.
I trust him with all my heart. What do you think about that? How does that encourage?
That's a big one, and for me, you know, because mine are still kind of littler and under my purview more. You know, I had a lot of guilt that I wasn't a good mom. I think a lot of moms face this, that you're not a good enough mom, and I think, you know, I've subjected them to divorce and some, you know, kind of home life bumpiness, and, you know, I'm this bad mom, but I put my faith that God would not have given these beautiful children, me as a mother, if it were to mess them up. Like, he knew my children before they were born.
That's right.
And he gave them to me. So therefore, I do have what it takes to be a good mom. And I think for any moms out there who are feeling discouraged, God has given you those children. And it doesn't mean maybe you can't do better, because there may be people in a season where you can do better. But it does mean that you have within you the resources to be the perfect parent for your kids.
That's really good, Jen.
Yeah, that's
really
it.
good.
That is really it. And as women and moms need to be reminded of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was really good.
He helps me, and my heart is filled with joy. There's some days my heart is not filled with joy. Anger, frustration, disappointment, sadness. He helps me, ... and my heart is filled with joy. What comes to you with that? Joe, when you even hear that, what does that say about the Lord, about God?
It makes me think of my mom praying. It makes me think of her praying with my dad at the kitchen table, or praying in her bedroom, or we have a tradition. We have a fairly large front hall. I say we. I haven't lived there in a long time, but it's the family home. It's the family home. They have a large front hall, and there's this image, because it happened so much. We would all circle up. If there was an event, maybe someone was traveling far away, or my brother was going back to school in university, or whatever, and we'd all hold hands and we'd be in the hall, this big hall together, and we would pray.
Oh my goodness.
And it was this joy of my dad would lead too. It wasn't just my mom, but but it was this that I saw in her.
That's beautiful.
And he helps me, and my heart is filled with joy. I think, you know, he helps them, our children. He helps me, and here's the thing, I think, and my heart is filled with joy. A lot of times, that's the choice, right? Because we can be like, I don't want to be joyful. I have every right to be angry and upset and not joyful. But there's a sense that when knowing he will help us, that my heart can be filled with joy when it's so dark. Because children, you know, and I'm one of them. I hurt my parents deeply and desperately. I'm not happy about that. This is probably one of my biggest regrets of my life.
Mine too.
And, you know, I think this is an encouraging thing for any mom or parent that is working through that no matter what, he will help me, he'll help my kids, and my heart can be filled with joy.
Yeah.
Wow, there's a lot of emotion going on here.
You know, and to someone that's watching, I feel like this is for you, that this is the instruction for the state of being that you need to be in. Because the truth of the matter is,
So true.
from the moment that they said it was a boy, a girl, and you heard the cries, the countdown began.
Yeah.
The countdown began, you know, that sort of hands-on mothering, that phase will move on. You can testify. And so our time to really pour in and be that sort of hands-on mom, it's a short window.
It's a short
window.
It's short.
Yeah, it's short.
Right? And then the rest of their lives were more friend and different things.
Different kind of relationship.
Yeah.
The final line on Psalm 28:7 says, I burst out in songs of thanksgiving. So it says, he helps me.
Yeah.
My heart is filled with joy, and I burst out in songs of thanksgiving. And a lot of times I know people are like, I will not burst out in songs of thanksgiving. There's nothing to be thankful for. This is a mess. The family's a mess, you know. But I burst out in songs of thanksgiving. What does that say to you? Because this is an encouragement to moms and parents everywhere. I burst out in songs of thanksgiving, knowing that he helps me, that he is my strength and shield, and that I can trust him. What does that what comes to you?
You can't do it on your own.
Right.
So if you want to live a life of thanksgiving, you need to first follow these steps, and you need to believe that the Lord is your strength and your shield, and you need to trust him. And, you know, and I think as moms, there are times, I mean, I don't know, but there are times that are so tough. But
There sure are.
if you can trust that the Lord's gonna be that for you, he will fill you physically with those that bubbling out of thanksgiving, right?
But even like in the spiritual realm, like singing to God is like a spiritual act of warfare.
That's right.
So like you can change the atmosphere.
I was just going to say that God is good even when things aren't good.
Right.
And it does change the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Our worship
Turn on
and
that
our
music.
Thanksgiving
That's
changes.
good. A practical thing,
changes
turn
your
on
home.
the worship music.
I've done it so many times. It changes things. Our gratitude changes things.
Love it.
So I think with the promise, the Lord is my strength and shield. The Lord is my children's strength and shield.
Yes.
I trust him with all my heart. Even when I don't feel like it, even when I don't believe it or feel it, I will trust him with all my heart. For myself, my situation, my kids. He helps me. And my heart is filled with joy, and I burst out into songs of thanksgiving.
Amen.
What a beautiful encouragement. I think I needed to hear it. I think a lot of us needed to hear that, because we need to be reminded of the promises of God. We need to remind others of the promise of God. And we need to remind our children that these promises are over them, even if they're so far away or they're so close, but that promise is over them too.
And that motherhood is a gift.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
So we thank our moms. Thank you guys for sharing, and to the moms here. But thanks, Mom. We love you, and thanks for your thoughts. I mean, we could talk about moms for a long time, but I think it's just important that we acknowledge just the goodness and what our moms have given to us as women, and the kind of women we want to become, that there is scripture to encourage us, to help us in our journey and in this role of motherhood. So thank you all so much for sharing. And to you, our viewers, many who are moms, stepmoms, mentors, aunties, and those longing to be a mom, the Lord is your strength and shield. He will never leave you or forsake you. He will help you. Just call out to him again and again and again. And if we can help you in any way, please connect with us on seehearlove.com if you have any questions or prayer requests. We'd love to hear from you and pray for you. And as always, remember, know that you are seen, you are heard, and deeply loved by God. Bye.